Right, time is running out for political parties to form coalitions and hang municipalities. Gauteng residents are anxious to hear who will govern Johannesburg, Tshwane and Ekurhuleni. ActionSA is the kingmaker in all three metros and it's already ruled out the ANC. For more on this, I'm joined by party leader Dr. Herman Mashaba. I believe you have a bone to pick with eNCA. We heard from sources that talks between yourself and the DA have collapsed, but you have a different story.
Well, I'm actually quite shocked when I saw this in the news this morning. However, I think your organization has profoundly apologized because I was quoted in this discussion. Whereas yesterday, I'm sure the whole of South Africa, if not the world, the only knowledge and official statement released yesterday morning was on withdrawing the proposal from the EFF because obviously the EFF proposal involved bringing the ANC through the back door, and I clarified to the entire media in this country and the world that negotiations are still on with the DA and other parties. So, and we will keep South Africans involved. We are aware that time is running out of us, but so far it appears to me that everyone is committed. But at the end of the day, these are very tough negotiations, complex. I think for us as ActionSA, we want to really come out with a situation where service delivery is going to be the priority for our government, for whoever is going to really be governing any of these municipalities under this multi-party government, to avoid the mistakes that the political parties made in 2016. We are aware that our democracy is still new. Like all the democracies all over the world, they went through the same pains as what we are going through. But I personally believe that if we go into these negotiations and negotiate in good faith, but at the end of the day, at the center of this has to really be the people. Because for us as ActionSA, I can't speak for other parties, we know that we represent the 2.6% of the people who voted for us throughout the 6 municipalities. Because we are not only in Johannesburg, I'm sure you're aware, Masiko, we contested in 6 municipalities, and we are grateful for people of these municipalities put us as the 6th biggest party out of the 2. You can imagine first time with the IEC making it really very difficult for us to contest. But at the end of the day, at this point in time, negotiations are still on, and we really hope that we can really come out with something that can serve the residents of our municipalities.
So what I'm hearing is that the possibility of an ActionSA and DA coalition is still very high.
Well, absolutely, it's still on the table, not just because DA and ActionSA can't form government. We need other parties. So we are a group of parties that are negotiating. So it's not just ActionSA and DA. Us and DA, even with all the best intentions, we can't form government anyway. So we need other parties. So, and my view, and I think, and I hope it's a view that's shared by everyone, because my interaction with all the other parties, whether a party is going to bring 1 vote, is going to bring 44 or whatever number, we must be treated the same, because that's what the people want. The people of this municipality says no one party is going to govern, and we really hope that anyone coming to negotiations, please come there putting people first. And understand that you are not a kingmaker. We are not a kingmaker as ActionSA. We can only become a kingmaker at the expense of our residents. What we are saying is we have an opportunity to remove the ANC and put in a government that can serve the residents of all these municipalities where we participated.
So just to remind the viewers, this proposal that you were talking about that you rejected from the EFF is that the EFF takes the city of Tshwane, ActionSA takes the city of Johannesburg, and the ANC take the city of Ekurhuleni, but you accept that they need to vote you in to be able to lead in some of these metros. Those are the words of the EFF leader, Julius Malema. You think he's not right when he says you need the ANC?
My goodness, I think it'll be the betrayal of the highest order. And I would expect even God not to forgive me if I can accept such a transaction where I'm reliant on the ANC to govern. Because ActionSA, Masiko, you're aware, it's a party started by a mandate of 2.4 million South Africans as a result of the groundbreaking initiative called People's Dialogue. The 2.4 million South Africans said to us, please, go out, Mashaba and the team, go and remove the ANC from government. It's a curse to this country. And that's what we committed to do. That's why at the IEC, the ROC, I made it really very clear, whatever the outcome, there's just no way that ActionSA will ever talk to the ANC. I said the ANC approached one of the officials, remember you were at the press conference, approached me and I said, please wait for my call. And I still repeat, if the ANC wants to talk to me, let them wait for my call. Perhaps in 300 years I might really return that call. But now the EFF deal wants to bring the ANC through the back door, and ActionSA dependent on ANC. The reason why we're in politics is to serve society and fight this corruption that has destroyed our country's reputation and the lives of our people. Now, how do I get this problem to come and help me solve the problem? Now, can you imagine you're going to the first sitting of council, I must report on corruption of people I'm dependent on. So basically, it'll be compromising me. It's not something that I will ever really do it. If the ANC wants to talk to me, please wait for my call. 300 years is not a long time. Just really wait.
Will it not be a bit of a messy coalition in some of these metros, Mr. Mashaba, if it has to be you, the DA, and 3 or 4 other smaller parties?
Well, look at world democracies. Half of the world democracies, I don't know if you're aware, are run through coalition parties with massive ideological differences. Here, actually, at local government level, it's really very easy. Remember how I've managed to work very well with the EFF with massive ideological differences. I mean, I'm an unapologetic capitalist. I love the capitalist system. EFF believes in government running my life, even telling me when to drink water, and something that I don't really subscribe to. But at local government level, there's no differences in ideology. It's about making sure that we can provide you with water, with electricity, collect your refuse, have the metro police to make sure there's protection in your streets, you are able to move around. So local government has got absolutely nothing to do with ideology. It's got to do with service delivery. And that's something that we put on the table. We are happy to talk to anyone as long as any party that wants to talk to us. Service delivery to our residents must be the first priority, particularly those who have been subjected to live under conditions that are unacceptable. I live in Sandton. Across the street in Alexander, people don't have toilets. So if you expect ActionSA to be the party that is going to focus on certain areas and not others, we believe as ActionSA, a pro-poor government is actually what is going to save this country.
I want to come back to that point. So when Mr. Mashaba left the DA and left his position as Johannesburg mayor after 3.5 years of representing the DA in the city, it was a breakdown of a relationship between yourself, the DA, and Helen Zille. And that's what you explained. A lot of other people we saw, I think in the media, we called it an exodus. So is this a case, now that you're saying there's still negotiation possibilities and negotiations are still going on with the DA, are you saying it's better to be, because I mean, you're describing the DA, if I'm not mistaken. You said the EFF were the ones who took you to the neighborhoods, that background of Alexandra took you to the neighborhoods where they didn't have water, in your own words. And it was the DA, I assume, because it was a 3-part coalition, that wanted you to go to the Santons and get there and cut grass. So is it a case of better the devil I know than to work with the ANC? I'd rather go back to the people that I can deal with and that I've dealt with before than to stab my electorate in the back.
No, it's actually quite deeper and simpler than that, Maseko. Corruption is a criminal offense. Corruption is a criminal offense. In no way anyone would expect me to work with a criminal organization and protect people who've looted public monies. But those who want grass cut in Sandton, if they are willing to understand that, yes, we've got to cut grass in Sandton, but we've got our people, our own neighbors, our own fellow South Africans who don't have toilets, who don't have water, who don't have streets whatsoever. If ever the DA and others are prepared to really understand that this is our mandate. We are not going to see a situation where we are saying people who did not vote for us, I must be told that I cannot provide services to people who don't pay taxes. I think it's an insult. It's a deep insult for me.
And that was the DA.
But I'm happy to say, if you are prepared to accept that.
Was that the DA's stance when you were Joburg Mayor?
That's absolutely, you remember, that's it's on record. There's a reason why I left them, including when they started negotiations with the ANC to remove me. So right now, if they are prepared to understand that our people, poor black people, are also going to be part of this government. They are going to get service, whether they voted for us or not. Because government is not about only providing services to people who voted for you. So if obviously DA and other parties accept this, we will do the deal. If not, unfortunately, there's no way that us as ActionSA will be a party that is going to be a party of cutting grass in Sandton and have street lights in Sandton working. In the meantime, my neighbors, my own family, my own fellow South Africans don't have toilets. So if other parties don't accept that, then ActionSA is happy to really be on the opposition benches. So and which will really be very, very unfortunate because I take it that as government anywhere in the world, when you are in government, you are not only there to serve people who voted you into power. Once you're in government, you have the responsibility. South Africa is known to be the most unequal society in the world. If you look at the living conditions of millions of our people, honestly, if people do not have any empathy towards them, unfortunately, ActionSA is not going to be part of that government.
So very quickly, I'm running out of time. We've narrowed it down a little bit. It's no to the ANC and it's no to the EFF. Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, EFF... yeah, but the thing is we can't form a government with the EFF. So basically, they are off the table because they wanted to bring the ANC through the back door. You know.
So very quickly, before I let you go, Mr. Mashaba, Johannesburg, the people in Gauteng, in the city of Johannesburg specifically, are facing a 54-hour water cut from Randburg. People are panicking. They're out there trying to get water from wherever they can in buckets. What do you say to this? If you do come into government here in the city of Johannesburg, if it's not electricity, it's water.
If it's not water, it's a crime. If it's not crime, it's rape. If it's not rape, it's hijacked buildings.
What is ActionSA? What are you going to do?
Look, this whole issue with the water right now, from what I understand, it is not a City of Johannesburg issue because the City of Johannesburg gets its water from Rand Water. I believe it's an issue with Rand Water because I'm not in government. I don't really know the terms of what they're negotiating as, except safe to say that only what I read in the paper. But it's not.
But the issue is basically poor infrastructure.
Yes, in fact, Masigo, I'm sure you must have attended the press conference I held. As soon as I took over government of the City of Johannesburg, I immediately instituted an investigation to look at our infrastructure backlog. At the time was 170 billion rands because the previous ANC government over the time, their focus was on changing names. Every time a hospital doesn't work, they change the name. Every time the street lights and the potholes in the street, they change the street name. So infrastructure backlog was sitting at 170 billion rands, and I can assure South Africans, by the time I left, the numbers are there. You can go into the city's website. By then, I'd already saved over 2 billion rands, which was used for vanity projects, international travels, and newspapers, DSTV subscriptions. 2 billion rands, which was going towards infrastructure. At the time when I took over the City of Johannesburg, infrastructure spend with the budget that I inherited was sitting at 58%. By the time I left, it was already at 71%. And please look at the 2019, the last budget that I ran. The City of Johannesburg was second in terms of our infrastructure spend at 93%. We are the second, beating all the other municipalities because we are focused on service delivery. But my concern, and I think what I'm observing during the campaign, I can tell you right now, because ever since I left, everything stalled or went backwards. And I'll still do the study in the event we go into this multi-party government. If it does succeed, and I hope it does, we'll have to do the study so that we know what we are dealing with. I can tell you it has gone up because the city of Johannesburg, the challenge with it is that it attracts plus minus 3,000 people every single month coming into the city. So if you are not going to expand your infrastructure, if you are not going to focus on your repairs and maintenance, if you are not going to...
They may say they're doing that right now.
No, they're not doing... No. Please look at their finances.
Right, Mr. Mashaba, I'm so sorry. I have to leave it there because we do have to go to my colleague Jeffrey Stevens to give people an update on sports. But thank you very much for coming into our studios at the last minute. And thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Of course, we need to know, as Johannesburg, Tshwane and Ekurhuleni residents, who our mayor will be in a couple of days. So I'm hoping that everything is negotiated in good faith. That is ActionSA leader Herman Mashaba live for us here in studio.